This week, we are going to take a look at what I think is well, this is me speaking, but I think it's largely a myth, although I am sure there are many people who believe it is actually a real medical condition. And that medical condition is called female sexual dysfunction. Yes, we got a couple emails here that really got me to thinking about this. So I've been doing a little research into this purported disease and have found some very interesting facts and fictions, actually. Now, there's been a lot of controversy, Mia, about this so-called medical condition and how the pharmaceutical industry more or less created this disease in order to sell drugs. That's the conspiratorial view, of course. But I'm not really interested in that aspect of it because clearly there are women who do not experience a high degree of sexual drive, which we'll be getting into in a little bit. But it is reported up to 40% of women have got some degree of sexual dysfunction or inability to really achieve sexual pleasure. But let me first start off with what the experts are defining as female sexual dysfunction. And that is, quote, persistent recurrent problems with sexual response or desire that distress you or strain your relationship with your partner. The essential symptoms are low sexual desire, which means diminished libido or lack of sex drive, sexual arousal disorder. Your desire for sex might be there, but you have difficulty or you're unable to become aroused or maintain arousal during sex. Orgasmic disorder is another one. You have persistent or recurrent difficulty in achieving orgasm, even after sufficient arousal. And then there's sexual pain disorder. You have pain associated with sexual stimulation or vaginal contact. Now, Mia, as I said, and as you know me, I pretty much always dismissed this so-called disease as merely a product of not being sufficiently aroused by your partner. But I don't want to appear callous to a real medical condition, especially, like I said, when up to 40% of women report having some sort of sexual disorder. So, I'm going to ask you, the medical expert, is there more to this? Do you think there may be physiological reasons beyond your man not doing his part to excite you?
It's possible there is, some physiological condition. When you're not feeling good overall, the last thing you want is sex, right? So you're turned off. If your health in general, it's not good, how do you even going to have any desire for sex? What they say too, if a woman, as you get closer to the menopause, you don't produce as much fluids, you start getting a little dry, your desires change too. Now depend on your hormonal level. I think those are physiological components that can possible.
Those are legitimate ones, you're saying?
Yeah, it can be. There are, physiological components that can possibly affect someone's sexuality. But on the other hand, we know that a lot of the woman's sexuality has to do with the foreplay. Even if you don't like sex, but, if you prepare the situation well, will be very well welcome to someone. But I think what's happening a lot is people, they don't have time and they see sex just as part of life. Oh yeah, I just need sex to get over with my stress, and it's, kind of in and out issue.
Sure.
And people are not taking enough time to value this actually very spiritual moment, even though sexual is involved with your physical body, but there's a lot of spirituality involved. And what I think is happening is people are just living at too much of a fast-paced life, and they're not taking time to really care for themselves and enjoy the pleasures of sexuality. And of course, if you're overworked, and many women, they are now.
Like you.
Yeah. So how can you, have enough time? But even though if I worked, I have my days off to balance, but most women only have 2 days off, and those 2 days off, you gotta shopping, you gotta laundry, you gotta taking care of your children, pay bills, you name it. You're so exhausted in your days off. In fact, many people rather go to work because they say it's less work at work than it is at home.
Well, then you got your husband sitting there with his heart on, ready to jump you, and you just, that
but their
probably
husband just, watching TV and doing nothing, and then
exactly.
You get frustrated because if the man was participating, if the man sees the woman is really busy, they need to take a part and say, what can I do to help?